WhenLabs focuses on flexible workforce management for the hospitality industry, workforce management that empowers your employees to focus on customer service excellence. Founded by two experts with a combined total of more than 40 years experience in enterprise collaboration and productivity, WhenLabs lets you manage your workforce the way they expect, using mobile phones and text messaging, while ensuring compliance with the regulatory and business rules you need. WhenLabs keeps your workforce focused on what matters most, serving the customer. WhenLabs allows you to set up combinations of rules as unique as your workforce to handle regulations and other business requirements. Getting your business running is simple. WhenLabs, together with your HR and management team, configures the business rules. Managers get an easy-to-use application loaded on their phones. Workers just receive text messages or phone calls, just like they do today, but automated. And everything is logged for audit and compliance purposes. Let's take a look at how to set up and deploy. First, let's set up a group of workers. There are a variety of ways to do this in When, including uploading a spreadsheet, having WhenLabs do the work for you, or a very simple forms-based interface. I'll quickly show you a view of the simple forms-based interface. First, it's important that WhenLabs uses your terminology. So for example, you may call your workers employees or team members. In this example, we're going to call them colleagues. Now, there might be different groups of colleagues, for example, the front desk and the operators. So we're going to, in this example, pick the front desk. We then want to associate a login ID with that group of workers. So we'll just quickly call it front desk at WhenLabs.com. Now, you may have several groups of workers. You may have full-timers as well as part-timers, for example. So from this step, you go onward to configure each group of workers. I'll just begin that and not go through the entire process. First, you need to specify how these groups of workers, in this case we call them colleagues, get called in when you have a gap. Do you call them in order or do you call them all at once? We're going to say we call them in order. We'll wait 10 minutes before calling each next person, and that there's 10 people in the group. Now we simply set up each of the workers. Again, this could be loaded automatically via a spreadsheet or via another process, but in the event that it's loaded manually, WhenLabs provides this simple form. So first we type in the name of the worker and when he started working. And I'll just make up that Nigel started working on December 12th, 2012. And we'll put in a mobile phone number because that's how When contacts this worker with notice of shift availability. And we can also put an email if that's another way of contacting the worker. And then we can specify a max and min number of hours that we want Nigel to get paid for working. So for example, if his contract says he gets paid a minimum of 30 hours, whether he works or not, we would say that here. And if he's a full-time worker, we'd specify him as a 168-hour worker per month. Now we've completed one of the colleagues in one of the groups, and we just keep going through this until the group is set up, specifying the rules around how each member of the group is contacted and some of the key data that supports those rules, like seniority and minimum and maximum number of hours. So that's how you set up the groups using WhenLabs utility. Now let's take a look at the application that managers run on their mobile phones. So first what I'm going to do here is sign in to the When application. Now I've signed in, and what we're looking at here is the collection of shifts which need filling. Obviously right now what this shows is I'm good. All the shifts are full, and in fact if I look at the schedule you can see that I've got someone on the front desk, stewarding, housekeeping, and waitstaff, and a couple of extras just in case I've got a problem. So my schedule looks good. Now let's say someone comes and tells me they can't fill a shift. I'm going to just say here that Nigel Beck, which is me, says he can't work the front desk shift today. So we're going to submit that. And now we see that there's a front desk shift open, that Nigel Beck's shift is open, and the system is scheduled to start to make calls in sequence. If I tap, I can come in and see the sequence of people that the system is going to call. First, it's going to call Matt Flaherty, then it's going to call Lindsay, then it's going to call Yulia, and so on down the list. Or I can initiate those calls immediately. I can click and call Matt, or I can send out an SMS. And if in some other fashion I manage to understand that Matt has accepted or rejected it, I can click accept or reject. And then all this will be logged in the system, so I'll know whether the person in question, Matt or Lindsay or so on, when they later come and say they weren't offered the shift, I can see that they in fact were. So if we look at the history here, we can see who was offered what shift when and who accepted it. So we have a full audit log. And that's a quick view of how to fill last minute shifts here at WhenLabs. I'm just going to quickly show how we send a message to Matt Flaherty. It sent him an SMS, and when he accepts that shift, this will change to say accepted. Thanks very much for spending the time to learn about WhenLabs and our solution. We look forward to being in touch.